Hey, hey, hey. Hope everyone is having a great Friday. We are here with the president of the Chamber of Commerce of Spartanburg, Alan Smith. I actually met Alan not too long ago. Todd Horn taught me into going on a little run excursion. And I was like, oh, these old guys, I'm about to smoke them.
Old guys.
These
Yeah.
old guys.
Yeah.
And we started running, I was about to puke. And Alan, just Alan and Todd are kicking it, and I'm back here huffing and puffing. So that in short is how I met Alan. And from the start, you know, it was awesome because the first time I met you, we were running through downtown, and I hear you and Todd in front of me talking about, oh, do you see this? Do you see this? Do you see these new signs that are going up? Oh my gosh, these new crosswalk, all the art, and immediately knew, you know, where your heart was and what you wanted to see. Even, I mean, it was like what, 6 in the morning, five something in the morning, 5:40 in the morning. So immediately was super attracted to Alan and his vision, and this guy is an awesome guy. So we're going to let Alan walk us through kind of. The second time, let me set this up. The second time I had spoken to Alan was at a Spartanburg Young Professionals event, and he talked us through his story, how he grew up. And I love being around people that have stories much like yours and young, motivated success. And it was really, I was super drawn in whenever you started speaking. So he is going to walk us through kind of where you came from. Know you were born in North Carolina, and then how the heck you ended up in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and in this booming city. So.
Well, man, you're really good to have me here today. I appreciate it. Also, just as the president of the chamber, I need to say I appreciate your investment in Spartanburg. You could have your business anywhere you wanted it to be, and we're right here on St. John Street, and so that's important to me. It's important to the community. It's important to the people that you're employing. Critically important. If we don't do anything today, I can walk away happy knowing that an old guy like me still has it. Well, how old are you?
23.
Space that we absorbed last year. We surpassed Phoenix and Philadelphia, right behind Houston. 25% of the state's investment has come from one county over the past 5 years, and that's Spartanburg. So you are right. I am incredibly blessed every single day to have the opportunity that I have in this community. My heart is in it. My wife's heart is in it. I can tell you my 2-year-old's heart is in it as well. We love it here. And we are, what I say sometimes at the chamber is our job is to make the Kool-Aid and get everybody else to drink it, and I'm first in line drinking it. So my story, you said you were interested in that, you heard about that at that event. The fact that I'm even here, the fact that I have the role is highly unlikely. I'm from Greenville, North Carolina, a proud pirate, went to East Carolina. First in my family to get a 4-year degree. So, you know, statistically there were a lot of things, you know, working against me that would say I shouldn't even have done that. And so the fact that I was blessed enough to be able to do that, became the town clerk of a small town in North Carolina called Bethel at age 23 years old, worked in local government a couple years, then was fortunate enough to get a job with the Greenville-Pitt County Chamber of Commerce, worked my way up there, and then was asked to apply for a job in a town called Greer, South Carolina. Never ever heard of it. Quite honestly, as a proud North Carolinian, I wasn't too interested in coming to South Carolina, but there's a bigger plan at play than ours, and it worked out that I got the opportunity in Greer. Wonderful community, dynamic, visionary leadership there, still is. But I was really, really drawn to Spartanburg because, and your viewers, I think it would be interesting for them to know that this is the only chamber in the state of South Carolina, North Carolina, and the Southeast, as far as we know. Perhaps there's only a few of them nationwide where we oversee countywide tourism development, countywide economic development, downtown development, and the chamber. So I've always been intrigued by this job, always been intrigued by this model. And quite honestly, when I was in Greer, if you ever stood outside of a manufacturing operation in the parking lot, you can hear a hum, and you know that something's going on in that plant. You can't necessarily see it, but you can hear a hum, and that hum is progress and momentum. Well, when I was in Greer, 5-6 years ago, I heard a hum coming down 29, and that was from Spartanburg. I knew that something was happening here. There was a lot of pent-up momentum, and we are riding that wave wide open right now. It is just a wonderful time to be here, and there's so many people and so many organizations pushing this community forward. I mean, I get to be here today and talk about it, but from our city, our county, our private sector partners. This is a community too. It's not necessarily just about business. It's also about people. We're trying to lift people up and give them economic opportunity as well.
Awesome, awesome. So tell us kind of, Todd briefly told us, but we didn't have this nice tent whenever he was here. So the heat, my phone got cut off because it overheated.
Wow.
So walk us through how you guys got together and the synergy that y'all created that is OneSpartanburg. How did this even happen?
Well, Todd is a dynamic, energetic, enthusiastic leader. People want to follow him. He is a wonderful person. And when we got together, he was actually on the board here at the chamber here, and our nominating committee approached him to be chair of the board. And he said, I'll do it with the caveat of, I really think it's time for our community to commit itself to a 5-year strategy, database strategy. And the board said, yes, it's time. And so we did that, and through a 16-month process, we developed what is now known as OneSpartanburg, 5-year community and economic development strategy. It was a $4.5 million. It is a $4.5 million initiative. Todd and I were able to fortunately raise that money to fully fund it through 2021, and we're at the halfway point. I won't go into all the successes of OneSpartanburg. That can be found at OneSpartanburg.com. But I think the work of OneSpartanburg and the work of all our partners has really gotten us to where we are today as a community.
That's awesome. So you said 4.5 million. How did you guys even, well, I know somewhat because the businesses here believe in Spartanburg, but how did you guys go about raising those funds to push the initiative?
We asked. No, I mean, it was a little more than that. This is probably one of the most philanthropic communities in the country. And I can say that with some pretty good data in hand too. When you look at what this community has been able to do through its foundations, and just to our left, the Chapman Cultural Center, so on and so forth. But philanthropy and investment can be one and the same, but I think they viewed this really as an investment. Our investors invested in OneSpartanburg because they expected to see a return. They expected to see a return in new jobs, higher per capita income, us retaining more talent, us recruiting more talent, us developing more talent, us investing in quality of place, us marketing on a level that we've never marketed before, which is huge because a lot of people don't know the story of Spartanburg. And so when we were able to say, hey, look, if you invest in us, we think that we can provide a positive return to the community through this plan. I think they came on board. I really don't. I don't think it was about me. I don't think it was about Todd. I think it was about Spartanburg.
Right. So I think I heard recently downtown's getting ready to see a huge investment, right?
Yeah. So we were a part of making sure that the penny referendum in November 2017 got passed. There were some counties in our state haven't been able to do that. We were able to do that. It passed 63 to 37%. 85 of 93 precincts approved it. And so what does that mean? Our sales tax for 6 years, only 6 years, and it'll sunset, goes up by a penny per dollar. That penny per dollar is projected to raise about $224 million over 6 years. That $224 million will build a new Spartanburg County Emergency Operations Center, 2 new parking garages totaling 1,600 parking spaces, about a 300,000 square foot judicial center, courthouse, and South Carolina's only city-county joint municipal complex. So this is a very collaborative community. That's another example of city government and county government being housed in the same building in downtown. Aside from the Emergency Operations Center, all of those buildings will be built in downtown. And we're very excited about that, because when you inject that much public money into a community, it spurs private sector confidence. And so we believe, and we're already seeing it, private sector dollars come to Spartanburg because of that public investment.
That is amazing. I heard the number, and I did not know how that was going to happen, and it's by that tax. That's
right. The 1 penny.
That's crazy. 1 penny can do that.
And the great thing about the penny too is we did a study. About 35% of that $224 million will come from people that don't even live here. So, if somebody stops out on I-85, walks into a gas station, buys a bag of chips, they're paying that penny for every dollar. So 35% of the revenue is coming from people that don't live here. They're helping us build these critically important buildings in downtown.
That's amazing. That takes super strategic vision. Yeah. That is awesome. And so I want to kind of pivot to something that excited me. How did we become number 8 in the country in millennial growth? How was that sparked?
There are a lot of theories. Number one, we've just had so much in-migration growth, just new people moving to Spartanburg. 7,300 people last year. That equates to about 20 a day moving to Spartanburg County. The other reason why we're winning as it relates to millennial population growth is there's 7 colleges in Spartanburg County, 15 to 16,000 college students. More of them are staying upon graduation because of all the amenities that we have now. There's a vibrant downtown. There's so many recreational amenities. Partners for Active Living just last night, announced the DAN, which is a 32-mile interconnected rail system throughout Spartanburg. Not rail system, trail system. I'm thinking of the old rail trail, but the trail system, 32 miles of interconnected, basically paths, walkways, bikeways, running ways, so on and so forth. So all those kinds of amenities, the Chapman Cultural Center and the cultural vibrancy that brings to the community. But the two biggest things really as it relates to people coming to a community and staying in a community are job availability and affordability. And we win. We win in those categories every single time. And so I think those are a lot of the reasons why we're seeing so much millennial population growth.
Awesome. So kind of rounding up, I know you got to get out of here. Give us what big thing is going to happen 2020? What is the thing in your mind that Spartanburg is going to see next year? If you had to put your finger on one thing.
There are a lot of things I'd really like to tell folks that I can't. A lot of good things, big things percolating downtown. But whenever I get that question to kind of give an outlook, this is always my answer. And so if you've heard this before, I'm sorry. But 5 years ago, if someone would have asked me, what do you think Spartanburg is going to be like in 5 years? And if I looked at them and I said, well, 25% of the state's investment is going to come from one county. The Montgomery building will be renovated. All W. Smith will be renovated. We'll have approximately 75 businesses over a 2.5-year period open in downtown. We'll absorb the 6th most industrial space in the country. We'll be the 19th fastest growing county in the country. People would say, you've lost your mind. There's no way, from 2014 to 2019 that would happen in Spartanburg. Well, it has, and then some. And I've left out a ton of other things that I could talk about over the past 5 years. So it's hard for me to, even in my seat, to imagine what the next 5 years will look like. But I can tell you the pipeline looks really, really strong. Restaurant growth, retail growth, all continues to surge. So, all we can do is encourage people, build a context of confidence. And I say this a lot too. Bring people to Spartanburg for the first time, because if we do, we win. We sell them, they're all in. So again, to round up too, I just want to tell you I appreciate that you're here. You're putting the stake in the ground in Spartanburg. It's so critically important.
Awesome. Thanks for taking your time.
Yeah, man.
Really appreciate it. So, thank you guys for watching this episode of Roof Talks. We will have Grant Tate Meatworks on Monday. Don't know if you have been over there. That guy is super live energy. So excited to have him on Monday. Making sure to get all the local businesses in here. Wanted to definitely get Alan up here to give some insight on what's happening in Spartanburg. So thank you guys for watching this episode. We will see you Monday. Thanks.
Thank you.